Hey everyone, Jack here, Norwich City, back for another review and reviewing Norwich City's first competitive win of the season. The big game against Birmingham City in the Carabao Cup, or as someone called it on our podcast stream last night, the Carabao Cup. And I quite like that. That's kind of stuck in my head. Norwich City coming through on penalties in the end, going 2-0 up. Birmingham getting it back to 2-2, and then it was never in doubt, was it? I think it was Norwich's first penalty shootout at Carrow Road since 1988, I think I heard on the radio. So it's been a while since the Carrow Road crowd has seen a penalty shootout and a Norwich City penalty shootout win, but we got there in the end. A big thanks to our sponsors, OneFootball, who are reviewing all of our, sponsoring all of our review content this season. It's the go-to app for football fans. You can download it for free using the link in the description. Well worth doing so. Let's take a look at how we lined up on the app. And as we expected, wholesale changes. Angus Gunn in goal. Pleased to see him get a run out. Jakob Sorensen in a slightly different position than he has been for the rest of this season so far, quickly becoming one of the most versatile players at Norwich City, next to Tomkinson, the young lad, next to Grant Hanley, who was of course suspended after the Cardiff game. He'll be back in the mix come this weekend, and Sam McCallum, who we'll talk about later, but limped off with injury. Midfield, again, changes. Gabriel Sara getting a start. We knew that thanks to Dean Smith's press conference. Liam Gibbs getting a run out. We'll speak about him later. And Kieran Dowell. And then a front three of Danel Sinani, Jordan Hugill, and Onel Hernandez. A pleasing team, a competitive team, considering the amount of changes. And I think that kind of proves the depth that Norwich City have this season. It's difficult, isn't it, to kind of review these cup games because neither team are at full strength. So many changes early on in the season. It was far from convincing, put it that way. I think the first half performance was relatively pleasing. It was nice to see Danel Sinani get on the score sheet. I think he will have a part to play this season. And much like the Marseille game, Jakob Sorensen scoring an absolute screamer. And it's interesting now with Jakob Sorensen because arguably his best position looks somewhere in the defence, whether that's left back, right back, centre back. He's kind of played in every one of those positions now. And with the injury of Dimi Anulis and possibly Sam McCallum, we could well be seeing Jakob Sorensen playing defence in more league games to come. Now, we have to keep our fingers crossed here that this injury to Sam McCallum isn't serious. It would be hugely, hugely costly if it is. We need as many fullbacks as we can, and having Sam McCallum limp off was hardly a good sight. But the small silver lining is the fact that Jakob Sorensen put in a good shift from there tonight. I think the most pleasing thing for me tonight was the performance of Liam Gibbs. Wasn't quite sure what to expect. I knew we saw a little bit of him in pre-season, but it's always hard to judge exactly what play you've got. It was a promising performance from Liam Gibbs this evening. I think it now raises a big question in Dean Smith's head as to does Liam Gibbs start against Hull City? Now, Isaac Hayden is still injured. I'm unsure whether Gabriel Sara will start from the off in a league game, which could pose the question, would Liam Gibbs start? Now, he may well start next to Gabriel Sara. He may well start next to Kenny McLean. I suspect that we'll probably be seeing Jakob Sorensen in the defensive areas this weekend, which does open up a place in the middle of the park. And after tonight's performance from Gibbs, I'd be inclined to throw him in there. Jordan Hugill gets the start up front, which I think many people wanted to see. Was the right call from Dean Smith, resting Timu Pukki. Had a fantastic pre-season. Did okay tonight, didn't score, but I think we spoke about it on the TNC podcast, but a player like Jordan Hugill, he's very much a team player, and Chris raised a good point on the podcast and said, look, we've got a player here who, even if he isn't starting from the off in every game, he will be more than happy to play his part, whether it's 10 minutes here and there, and I suspect he will score goals off the bench this season. For me, Onel Hernandez should start on Saturday against Hull. I think his performance again tonight was promising. Look, the end product is an issue with Onel, but he gets defenders on the back foot, and I think in this league, if you do that enough, you will create chances. So overall, look, a win is a win. You know my stance on cup competitions. I think the injury to Sam McCallum just highlights it. I think it's a real risk, these kind of competitions, when you're probably not going to win them. I don't buy the kind of confidence factor. I don't think any confidence would have been raised in that Norwich camp tonight. 2 really sloppy goals to give away. One from a set piece, one just really, really sloppy. It was unfortunate, the Tomkinson own goal, but the Leko finish for Birmingham was unforgivable, really. So once again, defensive mistakes from this Norwich side. But we are starting to create chances going forwards, and I think with our go-to defence, with Big Andy, I suspect Hanley will retain his place for Saturday's league game. I don't think Ben Gibson will be starting. Max Aarons, and then whoever plays at left back, I think you've got a solid base there. Now the other thing I think we have to talk about is Angus Gunn, who played a blinder in the penalty shootout, made a really good save late on to get the game to go to a penalty shootout. And for me, I'd be starting Angus Gunn now at this stage. I think he's a man who will want to be starting championship games. He doesn't want to be a championship number 2. He was a championship number 2 a long while ago, and he wants to see his career progress. And I'd be having Angus in from the off on Saturday. So I think almost more questions than answers from the win against Birmingham, but it was a win, and whatever you think of the cup, that I'm sure can only be a good thing. Very much kind of falling through the finish line, but it doesn't matter how you get over the line. We did so, and the fact that there's no extra time anymore is certainly a benefit. One good thing that the EFL have implemented. So there we go. Norwich beat Birmingham. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. There were goals from Danel Sinani and Jakob Sorensen in the end. Big thanks to OneFootball. You can download the app. They're also now streaming games on there, so you can watch them. So much good stuff. Just click the link, download it. It's completely free, and you'll find out why I rave about it when you do so. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.